It's March 15th, 2021, and it's time for Channing and Friends. Not black enough. While many agree with Meghan Markle's allegations of racism from the royal family, conservative commentator Candace Owens thinks different. What's she saying about racism? Then, it's been a tough year, and while everyone's been affected by the pandemic, Jamie's here to talk about how everybody has the potential to do more than they think. Details are ahead. And calling all comic book fans. Spence is teaching us Comic Book 101. Find out some of his favorite books to read right now. So, let's talk about it. Hi everyone, welcome to Channing and Friends. Today is Monday, March 15th. Michael and Spence, how are you doing today?
You know, it's March 15th. We're in that spring break time. It's starting to get nice and pretty in Southern California, so hanging out.
Longer days, daylight savings, springing forward. Hey.
I was tired of the sunset at 5 p.m. I do like a little bit more
Me
daylight,
too.
so.
Me too.
Agreed.
And this weekend, it was kind of a big weekend with the Grammys as well, and seeing everybody perform. It was a little bit different, obviously, this year, but that was fun to watch. And then so much to talk about, you guys. I think we're going to have an after show today because there's just so much. We could go on today. But what tops are new and noteworthy today, you guys, is a woman who has been known to ruffle a few feathers. And over the weekend, she ruffled even more. Conservative commentator Candace Owens is speaking out after Duchess Meghan Markle revealed allegedly that someone in the royal family was concerned about how dark the color of her baby's skin would be. Well, in response, Candace said, quote, "You would not be able to discern just by looking at Meghan Markle that she's black," suggesting that Meghan is lying about her experience because she's not black enough to be a victim of racism. This narrative creates a never-ending conundrum that can affect a black person's sense of self-identity. Basically, when you're too black for some and not black enough for others. So, you guys, a lot's going on in the teapot for me today. So, what are your thoughts on this, Spence? We'll start with you.
Megan's experience that's awful and disturbing. Unfortunately, not surprising. I think if you didn't think the royal family was racist or at least problematic in how they think about things, I envy you because you don't live in reality. Of course, I have no doubt that happened. I know we talked about Meghan last week in a different light, but she's not lying about this. That's not surprising.
Yeah, I agree.
Candace Owens' comments, awful. Candace Owens is an awful person. Candace Owens is like maybe one of the worst people alive right now. She sucks in every sense of the word. She is terrible. Nope. I despise Ben Shapiro, and I maybe despise Candace Owens more. And I really don't like Ben Shapiro. They're the same like conservative alt-right online punditry that's just garbage, and they say horrible things. But yeah, both things are terrible.
Yeah. Michael?
So I have a lot to say. I'm going to try to keep this short. Yes, Candace is a horrible person, and I'm aware that my comments last week about Meghan was that she's, I see manipulative tendencies. I still do. However, I'm not going to invalidate her experiences because I think they're simply true. I've watched the interview 2 times over now. I don't believe she was lying about a single thing. And even if it just doesn't, her story seems believable, even if you maybe didn't like Meghan or you thought she had lied in the past. I mean, this family, at the head of this family are 2 married cousins. Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth are cousins. Like the whole idea of British royalty is being white and supreme. Like, it's a systemic problem. Meghan did not have to look black. She just doesn't look like them, which is a problem for them because their existence is built on white supremacy. They're existing on white supremacy. It's true. And it's
Spence.
I mean, we glamorize them, but I really think it's time for us to start looking at them through a different lens. I mean, like, they exist because they are like white and supreme, and that's not good. That's
Well,
not good at all.
You know, here's my thing. I don't know who this Candace Owens woman is. All I know is that she says a lot of crazy stuff and it ruffles feathers. And I've heard a couple things and my feathers are ruffled. I don't know why she's talking. Stop talking. And you guys are saying that she probably gets paid to say these things because it's, you know, she's black. It's sad to me. I mean, I grew up as a kid having my white friends tell me that I'm too white.
Yeah.
I sound like a white person.
Yeah.
So the thought of a black person saying that to another person of color, I can't, you know, and I'm so used to not really sharing my opinion on things because of my journalism background, but quite frankly, I don't care today. She is a terrible human. This is awful. I don't know why you would say something like that at all. Especially, again, I can't get my mind wrapped around the fact that she's a person of color talking to another person of color. And yes, last week we talked about Megan. It was a different topic of conversation. We were talking about if she was a bully or not. And Michael, I agree with you. I still think that there are some things about her leading up to to her marriage to Harry that she may have done some things, maybe in the palace as well. But yeah, this week we're talking about what she said on the interview and how we do believe that it's true. And then you have another person of color who's being a bully and not trying to push those comments down. So
yeah,
a lot to talk about.
Add, really quickly, and I'll talk about the rest on the after show. We cannot associate privilege with, you know, a lack thereof of discrimination. I mean, Meghan, like I said, she's won the big game. She's given birth to a British royal. She and her lineage will never have to, they'll never have to work again. So long as that, you know, the monarchy is not overthrown, but she has won. And, you know, for all these conservatives commenting like you're too privileged to experience racism, it does not, like, it's, white supremacy does not discriminate. If you you aren't them, you are other. And if you are other, you are an enemy. She describes the family as the institution, and that's what they are.
Privilege is not individually based.
No.
It's I mean, I'm not going to mansplain that to the world, but
you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to.
Yeah, exactly. I shouldn't have to be like, what? And like, no, it's not how it works.
All right, you guys. Well, we're out of time, but we are going to have an after show, so tune in for that for more of our thoughts. But that is going to do it for New and Noteworthy today. We have more of our show coming your way in the next block, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
For information about our show and to stay connected, visit channingreed.com/Channing and Friends. Click on the Episodes tab and never miss out on the conversation.
welcome back. The pandemic has affected everyone's mental health in some way, shape, or form, and has left many dealing with depression.
So in today's Motivational Monday, Jamie is here to talk about how everyone has the potential of doing more than they think. Hi there, Jamie.
Hello, how are you guys?
Doing pretty good, Hey, we're very close to St. Patrick's Day, so you're wearing green to celebrate. I love it.
Got my green on. The little things that we do to celebrate, I'm telling you. Well, I'm here to talk about how you are made for more. And during the pandemic, we literally felt like we were on pause for like a whole year. I know that I have friends and family that feel the same way. And I'm here to tell you that you are here to be more and that we can hit that pause button and start fast forwarding into our new lives. So you're probably going to ask yourself, like, Jamie, like, how am I going to do that? We've had a year of wearing sweatpants. We've had a year of binging Netflix. And the thing is, you have to take your dreams and match them with who you are in real life. In our dreams, we dream about being an actor or a physician or fill in the blank on whatever it is. And you need to draw a connection to it. I start out every day reminding myself of my dreams. And we can remember all of that time. 3 months ago, whatever, January 1st, I was talking about vision boards. Well, I'm going to bring that up again. You guys remember my vision board?
Yes.
Have you created your vision boards?
Oh my gosh, no. I should have, though.
I really want you to, because I honestly, I just want to see what you guys put on your vision boards for yourself. Michael's is going to have a ton of candles and smell good. I think his is going to be like the best looking out of all.
I'll be like scratch and sniff.
Yeah, it will be. He'll spray.
Interactive.
Yeah, he'll spray some special scent on there. Yeah.
Scratch this if you're feeling happy.
I just can't wait to hug Michael again. Like, that's really what it comes down to. So, my vision board, we're going to bring it back up again. Hopefully you guys can see it. My vision board literally is now pinned to the side of my bed, okay? So I have to wake up every morning and see these things. But this is my own little cheerleader, I'm not going to say it as like, oh, Jamie, it's going to be rubbing down your throat, No. It's not rubbing down your throat. It's not there to make you feel guilty if you don't do something one day. It's there to be your cheerleader, okay? It's to remind you your vision for you, right? So I want to just focus right here. There's a big word that says worth, okay? And on my vision board, that is a big one. It's the biggest thing on my vision board is to have self-worth, okay? Yeah. So I've got something to tell me I'm worth it every single morning when I get up in the morning. So taking yourself and doing a daily reminder is very needed to show that you are worth it and you're capable of so much more. Okay, we're going to take that. We're going to remind ourselves. Then we're going to take our dream and we're actually going to apply it to our real life. Okay, so you can say, I want to be fill in the blank, right? Mm-hmm. And then you need to start doing that. Okay, so whether it's enrolling in a school or becoming friends with maybe somebody in that field or in that dream, actually going out into the world to make that change. If you want to see, a more beautiful earth and that's what you dream about and you want to be there to help that, go to your local park and start picking up the trash. So for me, I really was about, as soon as the pandemic hit, I felt myself go to a low. I wanted to motivate other people. I really couldn't do that by going and giving hugs and being there in person. Right. So I wrote my book, hoping that it would help some person that I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And now I'm here with you guys and I'm here motivating and helping people that way. I do the same thing on social media. And that's how I connected my dream and started the walk towards what I was connecting the two together. So this is where it gets hard. People are going to come against you. People aren't going to believe in your dream. You're going to have to tell the naysayers, hey, I believe in this. But you need to be prepared that no one is going to care about your dreams more than you do. Right? When I got up and I was going to go to California, I had everybody against me, but I did it. I'm the type of person that says, hey, I'm Jamie Nalbandyan. I'm going to do this. And everybody, I swear, my family looks at me like I'm crazy, guys. They're like, holy cow, what are you going to do this time? What is going to happen? You know, like, you go from being a little makeup artist working for like a little counter in a tiny little town to doing 34 films in 4 years. Yeah, because I said I was going to do it. And I started talking and I started doing. So no one's going to believe in your dreams as much as you. Becoming your words into your actions. And that's really, really important right now. Is we're coming on a time right now where it feels like spring, like for real. I mean, it is spring outside, guys. I'm sorry.
Right.
But spring is here for us. The pandemic was the winter. People are getting their vaccinations.
Yeah.
The actions are starting to bloom.
Hope is on the horizon.
Exactly. Exactly. So when I say you're made for more, I believe it. When I say you're made for more, it's me speaking that action into you.
Yeah, that is so good.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say one thing. I love how I just thought of how I think it's easy to forget when we were young, or not when we were young, early in this pandemic, how all of us just felt so depressed and it's hard to forget that feeling, you know?
It is.
And so it becomes who you are, and it's easy to just forget that wow, I was doing all this stuff before the pandemic. So
use that feeling as your drive. Okay. I was in a very abusive relationship 20 years ago. And that scared little girl, I used her as motivation, to help out other people, to just so I can be an encouragement to them. It's not, definitely you're made for more, but while you're made for more, you're becoming more. Does that make sense? You're made for it, definitely. But the more that you speak it, the more you're becoming of it.
I love that.
I love that.
So good. This is the perfect reminder, especially with like you said, vaccinations, just things are starting to open up a little bit more.
Yes.
LA County, Orange County's in the red tier now. It's just things are looking good. So this is a really good reminder. So
last year, I reminded myself that it was time to rise. It's time to get your stuff, pull up your big girl pants, and you know what? It's time to rise. This year, I'm telling myself it's time to soar. So it's time to see the fruits of my actions from this year. And I think it's time for all of us to soar. I mean, we've been dormant for far too long.
Yeah.
So I'm ready. I mean,
me too.
It may be baby steps and it may be a very slow start, but we didn't start by running. We started by baby stepping.
Yeah. You're so right.
So don't fret. We're becoming more.
That's right. All right. Jamie Nalbandyan, thank you so much for being here today. I always feel so motivated.
I really appreciate you guys.
Coming up, we're talking about comic books. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. So, as a child, I always found myself drawn to superheroes and fantasy stories, big escapist epics. So naturally, I was a big comic book reader, and it's something that I have found a lot of people are interested in, but I've never had the chance to get into. So I pitched this idea to Channing. I'm going to give you guys a comic book 101. And especially
Yes.
relevant right now because in the pandemic, I feel like we all tried to find hobbies and activities to do that could keep us entertained within our own houses. And, you know, while it feels like it might be winding down, I think we're still in an uncertain time where who knows what can happen. So it doesn't hurt to have another hobby that you can do solo in your house.
Right.
So welcome to Comic Book 101.
Teach me everything, Spence.
I'm going to do my best. So in the world of comics, there are several different types of series. I'm going to mainly talk about issue series this segment. There are like graphic novels and different other things, but we're going to talk about stuff you would get in a comic book store. So there are one-shots, mini-series, maxi series, and an ongoing series. And that's a lot of words, but I'll explain them. So we're going to start with the one-shot. Basically, the one-shot is a self-contained story that has a beginning, middle, and end in one issue. Not always, but that's usually the case. It's typically an Elseworlds type of story where it's kind of its own continuity, its own little contained story that doesn't really affect anything else, or it's like the opener of a big event. Recently, DC has done something called Infinite Frontier, which is kind of like a relaunch for all their heroes. They're sort of updating them and kind of letting a new creative team come in and do the stories. And they had an issue called Infinite Frontier 0, which I have right here, which is a one-shot that will basically set the stage for what you're about to read. That's Wonder Woman on the cover with a super crazy new outfit. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
She's in white.
One-shot. She is in white, yes.
She looks juicy.
An example of a different type of one-shot, which is a more like contained story, is this one. Marvel Snapshots is the name of the series, and it's Captain Marvel. And basically what the Marvel Snapshot series is they have like through the eyes of a civilian, you get a quick little story about a hero. So in this one, it's about Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, and the basic story is this young girl has like a fight with her mom, and it's a teenager, and she's just very unhappy with her life and full of angst, as most teenagers are. And she kind of idolizes Captain Marvel, and she's like, her life's perfect. You know, she has her stuff together. And through a series of events that I won't spoil because it's a wonderful little issue and it's only like 30 pages, she meets Carol, and Carol's like, I don't have my S together at all. And it's okay not to. Like, I am Captain Marvel, you know, I'm like basically Superman of the Marvel universe, and my life's not perfect, and that's okay. And so it's a very cute little contained story, beginning, middle, end, all in one issue. One-shots are fun, and they're a really good way to get into kind of the world of reading comics. They also sometimes are like celebration ones. Like, I'm sorry if the glare is bad. These are slipcovers. I keep them in pristine condition. But this is called DC Doomed and the Damned, and it's basically just a collection of Halloween stories in a one-shot comic.
Oh, so I know that's probably your favorite.
It is fun. Some of them are like not relevant to Halloween at all. Like, it ends with the big DC villain Darkseid like drinking. It's like an issue of him getting drunk at a bar, and it's very bizarre.
Oh, wow.
It's funny, but I'm like, why is this Halloween? I don't know. I digress. But yeah, those are one shots. They're one issue that have a full story, or they're like an opener of a big event. They're not a series, basically. It's just one book. So from there is the mini-series, which is a story that's told over a limited number of issues. It tells the beginning, middle, and end in between 2 and 11 issues of the comics. And I guess I'll explain what an issue is. An issue is like 30 pages. It's like a little staple-bound book. So like when you used to get like a magazine, same idea. But an example I have of a mini-series is this 4-issue story called Werewolf by Night, which is a Marvel story and tells the story of a guy named Jake, who's a young Native American boy. I have all 4 issues here. You can't see that, but that's fine. That he can turn into a werewolf. It's basically if Jacob from Twilight was like actually compelling and interesting. And it tells the story in 4 issues. It's available pretty much on any shelf in any comic book store. It's a lot of fun. I really liked it. And that's probably my current recommendation for a mini series that just finished, I think, a month or 2 ago. But 4 issues, beginning, middle, and end. It's like watching a movie. Then we have the Maxi Series, which is the same idea as a mini-series where it's a limited number of issues, but it tells a story in 12 or more issues. And most of the time, this is kind of an Elseworld story that's outside the main continuity. Sometimes you'll have them be spin-offs of main titles with different characters that aren't necessarily popular enough to warrant kind of a long, never-ending story. like a Batman or a Superman that you can always find in a current issue. These are more contained stories. And my current favorite, this came out a couple years ago, is called Deceased. This is a collected graphic novel version, and basically that just means they take all the issues and put them into a book. You can buy it like Barnes & Noble. This cover's crazy. This
kind of
is
scary. Oh my god.
That is a zombified Superman. So basically the story of Deceased is that a virus comes to Earth and impacts the DC universe, and all the heroes have to fight. And it's basically like a zombie apocalypse hits the DC world. So, obviously, spoiler alert, zombie Superman. Really fun, very violent, like crazy violent, but really cool example of a Maxi series where it's a big story, but it's like has an ending in sight. It's not just going to keep going forever. Those are fun. And then of course, what you think of when you think of comic books are the ongoing, never-ending series. These are things like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, X-Men, any big superhero you can think of that kind of always has a title going. I have an example of the most recent Batman issue. This is Batman 106 and takes place in the Infinite Frontier thing I was talking about earlier, that issue started. Like that 106, like in the current Batman story, they're at 106. So like obviously not a limited series. This is going to go on forever. And in the current timeline for Batman, he's like broke. It's cool. It's a cool way to take it. He has like no money and he lives in an apartment with a fellow crime fighter named Ghostmaker. The tricky thing about ongoing series is if you're going to jump in is they are ongoing. So you're literally 106 issues late. But what comics books will do, which is nice, is they tell their stories in arcs, kind of like seasons of television. So if you pick up an issue, like I'll show you inside this one, it'll usually have a like part 1. It'll say like part 1, part 2, whatever of like the current arc. So in this one, it says Batman, the Cowardly Lot, part 1. So that is the current arc of this ongoing, has just started with this one. So if you were to jump into reading Batman now, it would be a good time to pick up this issue because then you're not going to be behind at least on the current small story they're telling in this world.
Gotcha.
You will be a little confused because different things have happened to Batman throughout the 106 issues of this current timeline, but that way it'll be a little more accessible. So yeah, after all this, which I'm sure was information overload, but I was trying to give a quick rundown. If you want to start reading comics, I can show you how to make it easier to do. So what I do is I will Google Marvel or DC or whatever comic book company. There's a few other small ones called Boom or Dark Horse that are kind of like major players. You Google the name of the company, the month that it currently is, and then solicitations, and you'll find an article on a bunch of different geek websites that'll basically tell you every issue that the company are releasing this month, and it gives you a breakdown of kind of what's going on in them. So that way you can see what you want to order, what you don't want to order. Write down the ones you want, and you go into a comic book shop, and you ask to set up a pull list, which is basically like a subscription service where when they get the books in, they will set them aside and put them in a little file for you. And you can walk in, it's kind of like a mobile order almost. You can walk in and say, picking up for Spencer, and they'll pull out the file and they'll have all the books you want, and then you pay and you just leave. And that way you won't sell out, because as much as it's like a niche hobby, comic books do sell out fast, especially really hot in demand issues. So yeah, it's basically like a streaming service or subscription service where they set aside everything you want, and you don't have, it's free. You just set up the list at the shop, and then it's easy money. So that was my really quick, really fast rundown of the world of comic books and how to read them. I'm sure you all have a million questions, both Michael and Channing and the audience. So
I love it. That's so great. Well, thank you so much, Spence. I'm definitely going to have to get in on this comic book craze for sure. But that is going to do it for the show, everyone. We want to thank Jamie Nalbandyan for our Motivational Monday segment today.
And remember, everyone, you can always catch us on IGTV and YouTube.
Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.